Jack Miller looked up at the massive crystal and metal structure of the Galactic Academy of Sciences for the first time. His heart beat faster as he took in the impossible architecture, with spires that seemed to defy gravity and walkways that floated without support. After 6 months in space travel, he had finally arrived. "Keep moving, human," grunted the security officer behind him. The being had 6 limbs and skin that shimmered like oil on water. "Registration is this way." Jack adjusted his backpack and followed the officer through the grand entrance. All around him, creatures of every shape, size, and composition moved with purpose. Some floated, others slithered. Many walked on varying numbers of legs. Jack counted at least 30 different species in the entrance hall alone. He was the only human. The Earth Galactic Exchange Program was brand new. Jack, a geology student from Colorado State University, had been selected as the first human to attend the academy. His application essay about surviving a Category 4 tornado had apparently impressed the selection committee. Registration for non-atmospheric breathers to the left, standard oxygen metabolizers to the right, announced a floating orb in a pleasant voice. Jack followed the crowd to the right. At the registration desk, a tall, thin being with blue skin looked up from a hovering screen. The alien's eyes widened. "You must be the Earther," the being said, voice filled with something between fear and awe. "Yes. Jack Miller, from Colorado, Earth." Jack extended his hand in greeting, then remembered the briefing. Many species found. Direct physical contact alarming. The blue being seemed to shrink back slightly. "I am Administrator Lon. Welcome to the Academy. You are smaller than I expected." Jack smiled. "I'm actually pretty tall for a human, 6'2". "Yes, but the report said humans were dangerous." Lon's 4-fingered hands moved quickly over the hovering screen. "You are assigned to Dormitory Block E, with other oxygen breathers from similar gravity planets. Your roommate is Zixtra, a 3rd-year student from Lumina." Jack took the small crystal card that would open his room and access Academy facilities. "Thank you. Is there an orientation or something?" "Tomorrow morning. For now, please proceed to medical screening. All new students must be evaluated before joining the general population." Lon pointed to a doorway with glowing green symbols. "They are particularly interested in examining you." The medical screening took 3 hours. Jack sat patiently, as beings in what he assumed were medical uniforms scanned him, took samples, and muttered to each other in languages his translator couldn't handle. "Please lift this," requested a squat, golden-skinned doctor, pointing to a metal cube on the table. Jack picked it up easily. "Like this?" The medical team exchanged glances. One of them made a noise like wind chimes. "Is something wrong?" Jack asked. "That weight is calibrated for testing maximum lift capacity," the doctor explained. "You just casually picked up something that would strain most species here." Jack set the cube down carefully. "Earth has higher gravity than most habitable planets, right?" "Indeed. Your home is classified as a Class 12 Deathworld. Most civilized worlds are Class 3 or lower. Your muscle density, bone structure, and reflexes are concerning." Jack frowned. "I'm not dangerous." The doctor made a gesture Jack couldn't interpret. "Of course not. You are cleared for general population. Please remember to take the prescribed supplements daily. Our food might not contain all the minerals your body requires." By the time Jack found his dormitory room, he was exhausted. The door slid open to reveal a spacious chamber with 2 sleeping platforms, study areas, and a large window showing an incredible view of distant stars and the planet below. A slender being with iridescent skin was arranging objects on one of the desks. It turned quickly when Jack entered, forearms freezing in mid-motion. "Hello," Jack said. "I'm Jack Miller, your new roommate." The being made a graceful gesture that involved all forearms. "I am Zixtra. You are the human." It wasn't a question. "Yes, from Earth." Zixtra moved back slightly. "I researched your planet when I learned you would be my roommate. Your world experiences extreme temperature variations, violent weather patterns, and constant tectonic activity. And the wildlife. Predators everywhere. How do you sleep at night?" Jack set his bag down. Well, I usually sleep in a bed with a blanket. Sometimes I listen to music. But aren't you afraid something will eat you? Jack laughed, then stopped when he realized Zixtra was serious. In cities, we don't have many dangerous animals. In rural areas or wilderness, yes, there are precautions we take. Zixtra's large, multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly. Fascinating. On my world, there are no predators larger than my hand. The climate is carefully regulated by atmospheric processors. Nothing unexpected happens. That sounds nice, Jack said, unpacking his things. He placed a small cactus on his desk, a reminder of home. Zixtra moved closer, examining the plant. What is this dangerous-looking life form? Just a cactus, a plant from Earth's desert regions. The spines protect it from being eaten. Your plants have weapons? Zixtra's voice rose in pitch. Some do. This one's harmless unless you grab it. Before Zixtra could respond, their door chimed. When Jack called out, "Enter," the door slid open to reveal a tall, distinguished alien with feathery appendages and elegant robes. "I am Dean Naxfor," the being announced. "I oversee biological sciences at the Academy. I wish to personally welcome our first human student." Jack stood straighter. "Thank you, sir. I'm honored to be here." The dean moved into the room, studying Jack with obvious curiosity. "I have a proposal for you, young human. As part of our xenobiology curriculum, we study how different species adapt to their environments. Would you be willing to speak to my class about Earth and human adaptations? Most of our students come from worlds very different from yours." "I'd be happy to," Jack said, "though I'm not sure what would be interesting." "Everything," the dean said firmly. "Your planet's conditions would be lethal to most sentient species. Yet humans not only survive there but consider it quite pleasant. Your adaptations must be remarkable." After the dean left, Zixtra looked at Jack with new interest. "Is it true humans deliberately expose themselves to dihydrogen monoxide in vapor form for hygiene purposes? You mean, take showers?" "Yes. And you consume capsaicin compounds that cause pain receptors to fire, for pleasure." "Spicy food?" "Yeah, many of us enjoy it." "And you permit your young to engage in activities that could result in minor physical damage as part of development?" Jack thought about that one. "You mean like sports and playing outside?" "Yes, kids get scrapes and bruises sometimes, it's normal." Zixtra made a sound like gentle bells. "Human, I believe your presence here will be most educational for everyone. The dining hall will open soon for evening meal. Would you accompany me? Many students are curious about you." As they walked to dinner, Jack realized he had become an unofficial ambassador for humanity. He would need to explain things about life on Earth that he had always taken for granted. Things that apparently made Earth a death world and humans some kind of hardy, resilient species in the eyes of the galactic community. He smiled to himself. If they were this impressed by his ability to lift a heavy cube and the fact that he enjoyed spicy food, wait until he told them about extreme sports. The dining hall of the Galactic Academy was a massive circular room with tables arranged to accommodate hundreds of different body types. Some students hovered above specialized energy plates, others sat in bubbling liquid tanks, while many used what Jack recognized as more conventional seating. Jack followed Zixtra to the food dispensers, a row of machines that provided customized nutrition for each species. When Jack placed his palm on the scanner, the machine hummed for several seconds longer than it had for other students. Analyzing new species parameters, the machine announced. "Human from Earth, Class 12 Deathworld. Adjusting nutritional requirements. A tray slid out containing what looked like a steak, vegetables, a piece of bread, and a cup of dark liquid." Jack picked it up, pleasantly surprised. He had expected food pellets or some kind of nutritional paste. "Your dietary requirements include substantial protein and carbohydrates," Zixtra noted, looking at Jack's tray. "My people require mainly light energy and mineral supplements." Indeed, Zixtra's meal appeared to be a glowing crystal and a small cup of shimmering powder. They found seats at a table with several other students who made room as they approached. Jack noticed how they looked at him, a mixture of curiosity, caution, and excitement. "This is Jack Miller from Earth," Zixtra announced. "The human I told you about." A round, fuzzy being with 3 eye stalks bobbed in what might have been a greeting. "I am Lumi. Is it true your planet has open water covering most of its surface?" Jack nodded, cutting his steak. "About 70% of Earth is covered in oceans." "And you go into this water? Voluntarily?" asked another student, this one resembling a tall, thin reptile with feathered arms. "Sure, swimming is fun. We have beaches where people go to relax and play in the water." "But aren't there dangerous life forms in your oceans?" asked the reptilian student. Jack chewed thoughtfully. "Well, yes, there are sharks, jellyfish, and other potentially dangerous creatures, but attacks are pretty rare. Most beaches are safe." The aliens exchanged glances. The fuzzy one, Lumi, leaned forward. "I heard humans experience violent atmospheric disturbances regularly." "You mean like storms?" "Yeah, we have those. Where I grew up in Colorado, we get thunderstorms in summer and blizzards in winter." "Blizzards?" asked a crystalline being that seemed to shimmer with internal light. "Frozen water falls from the sky, sometimes with strong winds. Everything gets covered in snow. That's what we call frozen water." "And how do you survive such conditions?" the crystalline being asked. Jack shrugged. "We stay inside, turn up the heat, maybe have hot chocolate and watch movies. Or we go out and play in it. Build snowmen, have snowball fights, go skiing." "You go outside during these blizzards? For amusement?" The crystalline being's voice contained unmistakable shock. "Well, not during the worst of it, but afterward, sure. Snow is fun." A new voice joined the conversation. "I heard that humans deliberately expose themselves to potential injury for recreation." Jack turned to see a tall, elegant alien with flowing, plant-like appendages and green-tinted skin. "You must be talking about sports," Jack said. "Yeah, we play games like football, hockey, mountain climbing, surfing. Lots of activities carry some risk of getting hurt, but that's part of the challenge." "Fascinating," said the plant-like alien. "On my world, we spend our leisure time in growth meditation and harmonic resonance with our environment." "That sounds peaceful," Jack said politely. "Is it true?" Zixtra asked, lowering their voice, "that Earth experiences regular geological upheavals?" "You mean earthquakes? They happen in certain regions along fault lines. Buildings in those areas are designed to withstand them." "And humans just continue living in these places?" asked Lumi, eye stalks quivering. "Well, yeah. California has earthquakes, but it's also beautiful with great weather. People adapt." The word adapt seemed to fascinate his new acquaintances. They peppered him with more questions about Earth's extreme conditions: thunderstorms, volcanoes, temperature variations, predators, diseases. Jack answered as best he could, increasingly aware that what he considered normal daily life sounded like survival horror to these beings from more stable, predictable worlds. When he mentioned casually that he had once broken his arm falling from a tree as a child, the entire table fell silent. "Your skeletal structure fractured? And you survived?" asked the reptilian student. "Sure. They put a cast on it and it healed in about 6 weeks. No big deal. Kids break bones sometimes. Our young are kept in protective environments until maturity," said Lumi. "The idea of allowing possible physical damage during development is unusual." Jack was about to respond when a chime sounded through the dining hall. A holographic image of Dean Naxvor appeared above the center of the room. "Attention students. Tomorrow's xenobiology lecture will feature our new human exchange student, Jack Miller. Attendance is encouraged for all biology and adaptation studies. This is a rare opportunity to learn about Class 12 Deathworld adaptations firsthand." Geltron, eyes in the dining hall, turned toward Jack. He felt his face grow warm. "You're a celebrity now," Zixtra said, forearms moving in what Jack was beginning to recognize as amusement. After dinner, Jack and Zixtra returned to their room. Jack was exhausted from the day's events and the constant barrage of questions. He set up his personal items, including a small framed photo of his family standing on a mountain hiking trail. Zixtra pointed to the picture. "Your family unit?" "Yes. My parents and younger sister, Emma. This was taken during a hike in the Rocky Mountains last summer. You climb rock formations for pleasure? Jack nodded. The views are worth it, plus it's good exercise. Exercise? Zixtra repeated the word carefully, deliberately stressing your physical form to strengthen it. Another interesting human concept. Jack yawned. I should get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be busy. Of course. Rest well. Try not to worry about your lecture. I'm not worried about the lecture, Jack said. I'm worried about saying something that will terrify everyone. I don't want people to think humans are dangerous. Zixtra made a gentle humming sound. Not dangerous. Remarkable. Your species evolved on a world that would kill most of us instantly. Yet you not only survive there, you find beauty in its extremes. That is worth learning about. As Jack lay on his sleeping platform staring at the alien stars through the window, he wondered what else about his ordinary life would astonish his new classmates. Tomorrow's lecture would certainly be interesting. He closed his eyes, thinking about how to explain Earth's seasons, weather patterns, and wildlife, without making his home sound like the death trap these aliens clearly believed it to be. In his dreams, he was showing Zixtra how to build a snowman, while gentle flakes of frozen water drifted down around them, his new friend's iridescent skin shimmering with reflected snowlight. Jack woke to the sound of gentle chimes. He sat up, momentarily confused by the strange room until he remembered where he was. The Galactic Academy of Sciences, millions of light years from Earth. Good morning, human Jack, Zixtra said. The alien was already up, forearms moving in practiced motions as they organized study materials. Did you rest well? Pretty good, thanks, Jack replied, stretching. The gravity feels a bit light here. The Academy maintains gravity at 0.8 of galactic standard for comfort across species. Your Earth has approximately 1.4 standard gravity. Your muscles must feel quite free. Jack nodded. He did feel strangely bouncy. What time is the xenobiology lecture? Mid-morning. First meal is available now. We should proceed to the dining hall. As they walked through the academy corridors, Jack noticed that other students gave them a wide berth. Some watched him with obvious curiosity, while others seemed to hurry away. Is it my imagination, or are people avoiding us? Jack asked quietly. Zixtra's skin rippled in what Jack was learning to recognize as their equivalent of a shrug. News of your lecture has spread. Many students are eager to hear about Earth, but are cautious about close contact with a Deathworlder. I wish they wouldn't call it that, Jack muttered. Breakfast was similar to dinner the previous night, with students asking questions about Earth. This time, a tall, elegant alien with flowing blue robes approached their table. Professor Vela Santino, Zixtra explained. She teaches xenobiology and planetary adaptation. Mr. Miller, the professor said, her voice melodic. I look forward to your lecture. I hope you don't mind, but I've invited students from my other classes. We rarely get first-hand accounts from Class 12 world inhabitants. No problem, Jack said, trying to sound confident, though I'm not sure what to talk about. Just describe your daily life on Earth. The conditions you consider normal will be fascinating to everyone. The lecture hall was packed. Jack stood nervously at the front, facing hundreds of alien students. Dean Naxvor introduced him with a brief explanation of Earth's classification as a Class 12 Deathworld. Earth experiences extreme temperature variations, powerful atmospheric disturbances, constant tectonic activity, high gravity, and abundant predatory life forms, the Dean explained. Yet humans have not only survived but built complex civilizations. Mr. Miller will share insights into human adaptations and daily life. Jack took a deep breath and stepped forward. A large screen behind him displayed images of Earth he had provided: mountains, oceans, cities, and wildlife. Hello, everyone. I'm Jack Miller from Colorado, United States, on Earth. I'm studying geology, which is the science of how planets form and change over time. He pointed to an image of the Rocky Mountains. These are the mountains near my hometown. They formed millions of years ago when tectonic plates collided. A student raised a limb. You live near active geological features? Well, they're not actively volcanic anymore, but yes, Many humans live near mountains, on coastlines, or in areas with seasonal weather changes. Jack showed pictures of different Earth environments: deserts, rainforests, polar regions. Earth has many different climate zones. Humans have adapted to live in almost all of them. We build different types of homes, wear different clothing, and develop technologies to help us thrive in these environments. Another student asked, "Is it true humans can tolerate radiation from your sun?" We call it sunlight, and yes, in moderate amounts. Too much causes sunburn, though. We use protection like sunscreen for longer exposure. And you willingly go outside during daylight hours? Jack blinked. Of course. That's when we do most activities. The questions continued, each revealing how alien Earth would seem to these beings. When Jack showed a video of a thunderstorm, several students made sounds of alarm. You mean electrical discharges regularly strike the surface of your planet, and you just wait for them to stop? Lightning rarely hits people directly, Jack explained. We have lightning rods on buildings to direct the electricity safely into the ground. When he mentioned how humans swim in oceans despite knowing dangerous creatures live there, a ripple of what sounded like shocked whispers spread through the audience. But the most surprising thing about Earth might be how we see it, Jack said. We don't think of it as dangerous or frightening. We find it beautiful. We climb mountains to see the view. We swim in oceans because it feels good. We go camping in forests because connecting with nature is peaceful. Professor Santino stepped forward. This is fascinating. Humans have not only adapted physically to survive harsh conditions, but have developed psychological adaptations to find joy in environments most species would consider threatening. Jack hadn't thought of it that way, but she was right. Humans sought out challenges that these aliens would consider insane. Rock climbing, whitewater rafting, skydiving, all activities where humans deliberately faced danger for fun. After the lecture, Professor Santino approached Jack. Mr. Miller, your perspective would be valuable for my advanced class on planetary adaptation. We're beginning a group project next week. Survival strategies for different planetary conditions. Would you consider joining us as a guest consultant? Sure, Jack said. Sounds interesting. As they left the lecture hall, Zixtra seemed excited. You were impressive. I've never seen Professor Santino invite a student to participate in her advanced class. I just talked about normal stuff, Jack said. What is normal to you is extraordinary to us. That is why you are here, to help us understand different perspectives. On their way back to the dormitory, they passed a group of students gathered around a display showing what looked like a weather report. What's going on? Jack asked. They're monitoring a minor solar flare that might affect communications with the research station on Methus Moon, Zixtra explained. The academy takes students there for field research. We're scheduled to go in 3 weeks. A moon field trip? That sounds amazing. It's considered perfectly safe. A Class 3 environment. Though after hearing about Earth, perhaps it would seem boring to you. Jack laughed. Trust me, visiting another moon will never be boring to a human. As they continued walking, a small group of students approached them. One stepped forward, a reptilian being with iridescent scales that Jack recognized from the dining hall. I am Kai, the being said. My friends and I have questions about Earth predators. We have a debate about whether your species developed intelligence primarily as a defense mechanism. That's an interesting question, Jack said. I'm not sure we figured that out ourselves. Would you join us for discussion? We've reserved a study room. Jack looked at Zixtra, who made an encouraging gesture with their upper arms. Sure, Jack said. I'd be happy to. As they walked with the group, Jack realized his role at the academy was evolving. He wasn't just an exchange student anymore. He was becoming an ambassador for his species and his planet. These aliens saw humans as fascinating, terrifying survivors from an impossible world. The thought made him stand a little straighter. If they wanted to learn about human resilience, he had plenty of stories to share. The next 2 weeks at the Galactic Academy flew by for Jack. His days filled with classes, studies, and endless questions from curious students about Earth. He had become something of a celebrity, the Deathworld human who could casually describe surviving conditions that would kill most other species. Professor Santino's planetary adaptation class proved particularly interesting. Jack joined a team with 4 other students. Pella, a blue amphibious being who needed to keep her skin moist at all times. Sam, a gaseous entity who lived inside a containment suit. Neri, a plant-like humanoid with green-tinted skin who derived energy from light. And Dale, a silicon-based lifeform with a crystalline appearance. Their assignment? Develop survival strategies for a Class 8 planet with moderate seismic activity, seasonal temperature variations from freezing to very hot, and occasional powerful storms. "This is impossible," Dale said during their first planning session. "These conditions are extreme. How could any civilization develop in such chaos?" Jack tried not to smile. The planet they were studying was significantly more hospitable than Earth. "It's not so bad," he said. "Let's break it down into basic needs: shelter, water, food, and safety." "But the ground moves," Pella exclaimed, her gill-like structures fluttering in distress. "How can you build anything that lasts?" "You design structures that can flex with the movement," Jack explained. "On Earth, we use techniques like floating foundations, cross-bracing, and shock absorbers in buildings." He spent hours teaching his team basic survival skills that most humans learned in childhood or through simple experience. How to find and purify water, how to build shelters with local materials, how to predict weather changes by watching the sky. "But what if the temperature drops below freezing?" Neri asked, trembling at the thought. Her species had evolved on a world with minimal temperature variation. "You insulate your shelter, build a fire, and wear layered clothing," Jack explained patiently. "Humans have lived in Arctic regions for thousands of years." "You make it sound so simple," Sam's voice buzzed from their containment suit. "As if surviving deadly conditions is just a matter of following procedures." Jack considered this. "I guess that's part of being human. We see problems and solve them. We adapt." When their team presented their survival plan to the class, Professor Santino was impressed. "Most teams focus on using technology to recreate their home environments," she noted. "Your approach emphasizes adapting behaviors and simple technologies to work with the planetary conditions rather than against them. This is remarkably efficient." After class, she took Jack aside. "Your perspective has been invaluable, Mr. Miller. Would you consider leading a special seminar on basic survival techniques? Many students lack understanding of how to function without advanced technology." Jack agreed, and his Deathworld survival techniques became the most popular extracurricular activity that term. Students crowded into the practical lab to learn how to make fire without technology, build basic shelters, find safe water sources, and navigate using natural features. Most species in the galaxy evolved on worlds with stable conditions, Professor Santino explained to Jack after one session. Their civilizations developed abundant technology before they ever faced serious environmental challenges. Humans are unique. You developed intelligence while constantly fighting to survive. "We don't think of it as fighting," Jack said. "It's just living." "That's the most remarkable thing about humans," she replied. "You normalize conditions that would traumatize other species." The day of the field trip to Methys Moon arrived. Jack boarded the shuttle with 30 other students, including Zixtra and several friends he had made in his classes. "The moon has 1/8 standard gravity," the expedition leader, Captain Olari, explained during the flight. "Its atmosphere requires breathing assistance for oxygen-based life forms. Temperature variations are minimal. Surface conditions are stable. It's perfectly safe." Jack noticed several students glancing his way when the captain emphasized perfectly safe. He had become their measuring stick for danger. If the human wasn't worried, they could relax. The shuttle landed on a flat plain of reddish dust. Through the viewport, Jack could see a research station, a collection of dome-shaped buildings connected by enclosed walkways. Captain Olari distributed environment suits and breathing apparatus. "Stay within visual range of your assigned groups. Collect mineral samples according to the research protocols. Return to the shuttle when you hear the signal." Jack's group included Zixtra, Kai the reptilian student, and Marla, a floating spherical being with delicate tendrils. They moved carefully across the moon's surface, their steps light in the reduced gravity. "This is amazing," Jack said, looking up at the massive ringed planet that filled half the sky. "On Earth, we only have one small moon." They spent several hours collecting samples, placing them in specialized containers for later analysis. Jack enjoyed watching how his alien companions moved in the low gravity. Zixtra seemed to almost dance with their forearms balancing their movements, while Marla simply floated higher than usual. As they were returning to the shuttle, a different group ahead of them suddenly stopped. One student pointed to a device on their wrist. "Something's wrong," Kai said, moving closer to hear. "Their instruments are detecting unusual energy readings." Before anyone could react, the ground beneath them trembled. It was a minor shake by Earth standards, barely a 3.0 on the Richter scale. But to these students from geologically stable worlds, it was terrifying. Panic spread quickly. Students stumbled in the unfamiliar gravity as the ground continued to tremble. Jack heard Captain Olari trying to calm everyone through the communication system in their suits. "It's a minor seismic event. Remain calm and proceed to the shuttle." A crack appeared in the ground between Jack's group and the shuttle. It wasn't deep, perhaps 2 meters at most, but it was widening slowly. Kai moved too close to the edge, lost balance in the low gravity, and fell in. Marla, trying to help, drifted too close and got pulled down as well. "Help." Kai's voice came through their communication systems. "We're trapped." Jack moved quickly to the edge and looked down. The 2 students were unhurt but clearly panicking. Other students stood frozen, unsure what to do. "I'm going down to help them," Jack said calmly. "Zixtra, find something we can use as a rope." "But the ground is breaking apart." Zixtra's voice quivered. Jack shook his head. "It's just a small tremor, already stopping. The crack isn't deep. We need to get them out before the temperature drops when this area moves into shadow." While the other students watched in amazement, Jack quickly fashioned a makeshift rope from equipment straps, secured it to a rock formation, and prepared to descend into the crevice. For him, this was a simple problem with a straightforward solution. For his alien classmates, it was watching a Deathworlder in action. Jack lowered himself into the crevice using the makeshift rope with practiced ease. The low gravity made it simple, almost like floating down. He reached Kai and Marla quickly. "Are you hurt?" he asked, checking them over. "No," Kai stuttered, scales shifting color with stress. "But we can't climb out, the walls are too smooth." Marla's spherical body pulsed with distress signals, her tendrils wrapped tightly around herself. "My environmental controls are malfunctioning. Temperature regulation is failing." Jack looked up. Several faces peered down at them, including Zixtra and Captain Olari. "I'll send down rescue equipment," the captain called. "There's no time," Jack replied. "The sun is setting in this region. We need to get out now before it gets too cold." He turned to his trapped classmates. "Kai, I'm going to help you climb up first. The gravity is low, so it won't be difficult. Just follow my instructions." Despite Kai's fear, Jack calmly guided the reptilian student up the makeshift rope, showing where to place hands and feet. With some effort, Kai reached the top where others pulled him to safety. Marla presented a different challenge. Her spherical body wasn't designed for climbing. "Can you wrap your tendrils around me?" Jack asked. "I'll carry you up." The alien hesitated, then extended her delicate tendrils to secure herself to Jack's environment suit. He climbed the rope, one-handed carrying Marla with the other, his earthborn muscles easily handling the task in the moon's light gravity. Once everyone was safe, Captain Olari ordered an immediate return to the shuttle. The temperature was already dropping as shadows lengthened across the moon's surface. "Walk quickly but carefully," Jack advised the group. "Stay together and watch for more cracks." They made it back to the shuttle without further incident. Inside, the captain ran diagnostics on everyone's suits and vital signs while Jack helped distribute emergency thermal blankets. "The humans saved us," Kai announced to everyone. He knew exactly what to do, no hesitation. Jack shrugged. "Anyone would have helped?" "No." Marla's voice came through her translator. "Most of us froze in panic. You saw a problem and solved it immediately." That's what humans do, Zixtra added. They face danger as if it's a normal part of life. Because it is, Jack said simply. On Earth, you learn to adapt to challenges, or you don't survive. The trip back to the academy was filled with excited chatter about the emergency and Jack's rescue. By the time they landed, the story had grown. The minor tremor became a major quake, the shallow crevice a deep chasm, and Jack's calm assistance, a heroic rescue against impossible odds. Dean Naxivor was waiting when they disembarked. I understand there was an incident. Is everyone unharmed? Captain Olari nodded. Thanks to our human student, he acted when others hesitated. The Dean turned to Jack. It seems you've demonstrated human adaptability in a practical setting. Would you be willing to share your experience at tomorrow's assembly? The next day, Jack stood before the entire academy. He tried to downplay his actions, explaining that what he'd done was basic survival training that many humans learned. On Earth, we have a saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. We expect challenges and develop skills to handle them. It's not heroic, it's human. Professor Santino joined him on stage. What Mr. Miller modestly fails to mention is that humans have evolved on a world where quick thinking and practical problem-solving aren't just useful, they're essential for survival. While most species in the galaxy evolved on worlds that nurtured them, humans evolved on a world that challenged them at every turn. In the weeks that followed, Jack noticed a change in how students interacted with him. The fear was gone, replaced by respect and curiosity. His Deathworld survival techniques seminar doubled in size. Students from engineering, biology, and physics programs sought his perspective on their projects. As the term neared its end, Jack was summoned to the dean's office. He found not only Dean Naxivor but also several other faculty members and a holographic projection of an elegant alien he didn't recognize. Jack Miller, the dean said, "This is Counselor Vex of the Galactic Education Authority. Your exchange program has been of great interest to them." The holographic figure nodded. "Mr. Miller, your presence at the Academy has been most enlightening. We wish to expand the program to include more humans." "That's great," Jack said sincerely. "The exchange has been amazing for me too." Additionally, Counselor Vex continued, "We would like to propose an exchange in the other direction. Several Academy students have requested permission to visit Earth under your guidance." Jack blinked in surprise. "Students want to visit Earth even knowing it's classified as a death world?" Professor Santino smiled. "Perhaps because of that classification, you've shown them that challenges can be growth opportunities rather than threats to avoid. We would ensure proper safety protocols," the counselor added. "But we believe direct experience would be invaluable for selected students." Jack thought of showing Zixtra the Rocky Mountains, of taking Kai swimming in the Pacific Ocean, of letting Neri feel rain on her leaf-like skin. The idea made him smile. "I'd be honored to host them," he said. On graduation day, the Academy presented Jack with a special commendation. Dean Naxivor announced the establishment of a new course, Deathworld Adaptation and Survival Philosophy, with scholarships specifically for future human students. Zixtra, who had become Jack's closest friend, at the Academy, gave a speech that moved many to emotional displays. "We thought we were teaching Jack about advanced galactic society," they said, forearms moving in elegant gestures. "Instead, he taught us something far more valuable, how to face challenges with creativity and courage. Humans don't just survive adversity, they embrace it as a path to growth." As Jack prepared to return to Earth, this time with 6 alien students eager to experience his homeworld, he looked out at the stars from the Academy's observation deck. He thought about how differently he now saw his own planet, not just as home but as the forge that had shaped humanity into what they were. "Ready for your first Earth adventure?" he asked his alien friends who stood nervously beside him. "What will we see first?" Zixtra asked. Jack grinned. "I thought we'd start with something simple. There's this place called Yellowstone with these amazing geysers, superheated water that shoots hundreds of feet into the air." The looks of horror and excitement on their faces made him laugh. "Don't worry, he assured them. It's perfectly safe. Trust me, I'm human,